episode of the Bacon8or Sam YouTube channel. Right now we are driving up into Mint Hill, North Carolina. We're going to see the Vietnam Veterans Moving Wall. It's going to be a serious first episode. I promise you guys we'll get comedy in this on later episodes. But Vietnam War, we as the United States, we lost approximately 58,000 guys. This wall has all the names of the men that we lost. And we just appreciate our Vietnam veterans. We're going to go up here, we're going to see this wall. And we hope you stay tuned. We'll see you when we get there. Welcome back to the first episode of the Bacon8or Sam YouTube channel. We're here now in Mint Hill at the Vietnam Memorial. We're going to go and see the traveling wall for the Vietnam veterans and pay tribute to the 58,000 guys that lost their lives in Vietnam.
By 1969, more than 500,000 men and women were stationed in South Vietnam. Among them were several Iowans, including Dan Gannon from Mingo.
Now, what's your position, Steve?
I wanted to serve my country, but it was not in my foremost of what I was planning on doing when I graduated from school. At the time, I was planning on going back to the family farm. And then I had a brother that was shot in Vietnam. It was kind of like, you know, I got to go over and get those suckers for shooting my brother. That was part of my motivation, but I knew I was going to have to go, and I definitely wanted, if I have to, I want to go serve my country honorably in the best way I can.
Gannon was deployed with the Marines somewhere north of Da Nang. The lieutenant spent more than 300 days living in the jungle. In order to stay sharp on the battlefield, he chose to save his rest and recuperation leave until the end of his tour of duty. Encounters with the enemy often lasted only a few seconds, but sometimes they drug on for days.
It was extremely noisy, and so I call it controlled chaos. You got people running all over the place, you got things happen in a firefight where you're getting shot at and you're shooting at them, and the terrain is rough, and nothing is ever completely planned out that's going to work exactly the way you want it to. You don't stop and think, I want to be patriotic right now. You had a job to do, and I'm going to do it the best way I can. For those who are on their left and on the right, and those who supported you, you were doing it for them. You become extremely close in a combat environment, closer than you would to your own personal family, because it's life and death. In my platoon, I had PhDs. I had troops that were, you're going to go to Vietnam or jail or prison, a term we would say when it hits the fan. It's amazing how it's life and death and surviving as a unit, they all pull together.
On patrol, Gannon's Marines often were spread out along narrow jungle paths for distances of up to a quarter of a mile. One day, a soldier tripped a booby trap. The explosion killed several men, including a corpsman.
And the corpsman who was right behind me had heard the radio that so-and-so's it down. They went through all their training together. And so he just kind of lost his head. Instead of staying on the trail, he just automatically just took off and cut across. And he had made about 15 steps and tripped a mine and was killed immediately. So here I've lost both corpsmen, and we had injuries anyway, so then we had to improvise. That was a very bad day for me because both corpsmen I was quite close to.
Gannon barely received a scratch during multiple firefights in Vietnam, but one encounter was different.
I felt a sting in my arm, and I'm still fighting, and blood's running down my arm, and somebody, hey, Lieutenant, you've been hit. So I'm looking at my arm, and so the corpsman came up and wrapped it up and cleaned it out, and because they always cleaned out wounds, because a lot of times the rounds themselves were buried in manure or whatever, and then they were used, so they had a lot of bacteria.
Gannon's arm quickly became infected. He collapsed and was evacuated by helicopter for treatment.
I felt bad that I had to leave my Marines. I was that committed to them. And so I was hoping I told them I want to get patched up. I'm okay. I can go back. I don't need to go home. I have a job to do here.
Gannon was recommended for the Purple Heart, but declined the commendation.
Folks, this is the moving wall on the Vietnam veterans. here we are at the moving wall. I mean, this is pretty daunting. It's got the names of the 58,000 men who lost their lives in Vietnam. We're looking for one from my hometown of Danville, Pennsylvania. Sergeant Charles Malone lost his life in Vietnam. We're going to try and find that. Charles Malone, who was a staff sergeant from my hometown of Danville, was killed in Vietnam. That's his name here on panel 12E, line 103.
Both in Cambodia or in Laos. You know, we're in and out of both countries a lot. We did recon along the DMZ. We did it for the Quezon before they got hit.
What did this young Marine back in 1968 look like? Is that who's
I don't know if you want to see that picture. Well, this is 1973.
That's 73, okay.
I don't know. I had pictures of me in boot camp, but
How did he feel? How did you feel?
I was gung ho. You know, I enlisted to go to Vietnam, and you know, they just took their time before they sent us over there. It wasn't for the training that we went through. There was 3 other guys that were captured with me. That was my recon team. And it wasn't for the training that we went through. I don't think none of us would have came back.
Could you take me to that time of that capture? Where were you when this took place?
Well, we're about 12 miles into Laos. We're doing a recon mission along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, looking for signs of North Vietnamese coming down into South Vietnam. And this was the 3rd day we were out. It was about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. We were waiting to be picked up. And I forgot what infantry unit it was. I think it was the 538th North Vietnamese infantry that came through. There was like 5 or 6 guys, you know, North Vietnamese. They didn't even know we were there. They walked up on us. There was my team and another recon team about a quarter mile away from us, and we took out the first 4 or 5 Vietnamese. So we decided to split the 2 teams up, so while 8 of us wouldn't get captured. They went southwest. We went southeast. We got one radio call out, and to be picked up at another pickup point. And our radio got shut out on us, and that was like, I don't know, 6, 7 miles away from where we got hit by North Vietnamese. We got to the hill, and there was nothing but North Vietnamese all around the area. So we started going southwest to go around the North Vietnamese. We made it back into Quang Tri, North Vietnam, and we got about 12, 15 miles away from the fire base, and we ran into a Viet Cong ambush. They were waiting for us. They had to be 30, 40 of them. There was 4 of us. We were low on ammo. If we had 7 rounds apiece, you know, that was a lot. And it was either giving up or, you know, being killed.
So they were able to capture you.
Yeah.
And they took you to another camp, and that's how this
Well,
was?
they took the 4 of us to, I guess it was an interrogation camp. They kept us there for about 2 days. Then they split the 4 of us up. They took us to different interrogation camps. That was towards the end of August. I got captured August 16th.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this. We're here at the POW MIA Memorial, here at the Vietnam War Wall in Mint Hill. It means a lot to me. My father was a POW MIA in World War II, and just here to pay tribute to those guys and gals that have given their lives for this country. That's going to end the first episode of the Piss and Sam series here on YouTube. We'll talk to you later. Stay safe. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of Piss and Sam. Tune in again next time when we'll do some more fun things. Hey, all you got to do is punch the like button and then hit the subscribe. My kids will get to eat. We'll see you next time. Peace and love.